Hello from the holy city of Jerusalem. Welcome to the 1999 Mrs. World pageant on the PAX television network. Tonight, join 46 beautiful married women as they compete for the coveted title of Mrs. World 1999. From the excitement of Tel Aviv and Eilat to the historic cities of Nazareth, Jaffa, and Bethlehem, journey with our contestants as they explore the wonders of this enchanting and holy land. After 2 weeks of adventure, fun, and rehearsals, the time has come to choose the one lucky married lady who will wear the crown. And now, please welcome your hosts for the 1999 Mrs. World pageant. He's an international recording, television, and film star, and she's an international TV hostess from the British Isles, Aki Avni and downtown Julie Brown.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Shalom, Bahum. Help me.
ברוכים הבאים.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to the Holy Land. I'm downtown Julie Brown. We're here in Jerusalem to bring you the most exciting and glamorous event of the year, honoring married women the world over. My co-host tonight, in case you haven't noticed, is not only gorgeous, but he's one of the biggest stars in Israel. Please give it up for Aki Avni.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you very much. You know, Julie, we're having a saying here in Israel, ברוכים הבאים לישראל, ארץ הקודש, ארץ זבת חלב ודבש. I know it sounds like, but it means welcome to Israel, the Holy Land, the land of milk and honey.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, where we come from, we always say thank you very much for inviting us to your wonderful land of milk and honey.
Welcome. This is an open country. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will showcasing the most beautiful, talented woman in the world. Woman who can do it all, raise a family, have a career, support the community, and have a successful marriage all at the same time.
That's right, and as you'll see, these ladies competing for the prestigious title do it all with style, elegance, and a lot of grace. Everyone here at the Jerusalem Theatre and on our worldwide television audience is in for a real wonderful show tonight as we crown Mrs. World 1999, the only internationally televised pageant for the married women in the world.
The search for Mrs. World 99 begins right now as we present our 46 winners from all over the world with the traditional parade of nations. Our ladies are each wearing a costume of her country.
So ladies, let's do it.
This is America.
Shalom. I am Starla Stanley, and my costume represents the stars and stripes of our great American flag.
This is Argentina.
I'm Solange Dornels, and my costume represents the vedette of Buenos Aires.
This is Austria.
Tabitha Lewis, I'm wearing a traditional costume from Austria.
This is Belarus.
Olga Roslyak, I represent original national costume of Belarus.
This is Belize.
Donna Flores, proudly representing our wonderful Jaguar in the city of Belize.
This is Bolivia.
Rosario Guiteras, represento el oriente boliviano.
This is Brazil.
Adma Inácio, represento o Carnaval do Brasil.
This is British Virgin Islands.
Hi, I'm Sabina Mason, proudly representing our national bird, the turtle dove.
This is Chile.
Media Niri, mi traje representa la independencia de la patria.
This is Costa Rica.
Luana Fer, I'm representing the Spanish influence from the colony from the 1500s.
This is Croatia.
Shalom, Antonella Titiski, my costume representing a beautiful love and happiness from me and my country to all of you.
Mrs. Cyprus.
Dorota Eftichiou. I'm wearing traditional dress of beautiful island Cyprus.
Mrs. Czech Republic.
I'm Petra Knosová and I'm wearing traditional Moravian costume.
Mrs. Estonia.
Hello, Anna Kalugina. I represent national costume from beautiful country Estonia.
Mrs. France.
Isabelle da Silva, je représente la femme française.
Mrs. Great Britain.
Hi, I'm Jane Fletcher and my costume represents the national flag of my country, the Union Jack.
Mrs. Guatemala.
Helga de Soto, representing the country of the eternal spring, Guatemala.
Mrs. Holland.
I'm Anja de Jong. I represent the traditional costume of the famous cheese girl in the Netherlands.
Mrs. Hungary.
Tünde Gáspárdi, a magyar népviseletet és a csárdást képviselem.
Mrs. India.
Hi and namaste. Kavita Chacha. My costume represents a traditional Indian bride.
Mrs. Israel.
Shalom, I am Limor Gazit and I represent the beginning of a new era of peace in the Middle East.
Mrs. Italy.
Barbara Vuskovic, il mio vestito rappresenta una tipica maschera del carnevale di Venezia.
Mrs. Japan.
Kazu Emu, I'm wearing traditional Japanese kimono.
Mrs. Korea.
Namo Kim, my costume represents one of the most well-known Korean symbols, which is Taegu. It symbolizes heaven, earth, and humanity.
Mrs. Latvia.
Lavakar, I'm Ina Schlesser and my costume represents tradition and history of my country.
Mrs. Lithuania.
Angela Anglitskenia. I represent national costumes of Lithuania.
Mrs. Malta.
Good evening. My name is Marisa Tart and my costume represents the handmade Maltese lace.
Mrs. Mexico.
Tamara Peña, and this is a Tehuana dress from the state of Oaxaca.
Mrs. Namibia.
Good evening, my name is Carol Derksen and my costume represents the Safari Kingdom of Africa, Namibia.
Mrs. Nepal.
I'm Sumitra Casey Joshi. I represent the Hindu substance of mother.
This is New Zealand.
Tinakota Decor. I'm Tracy Hampton. My costume represents contemporary design of the Maori.
Mrs. Norway.
Jette Fabienne, I'm wearing a traditional Norwegian costume.
Mrs. Paraguay.
Marta Paredes y llevo un traje típico de danza paraguaya.
Mrs. Peru.
Buenas noches, soy Jessica Vázquez y represento a la mujer limeña en la época virreinal. Gracias.
Mrs. Poland.
Aleksandra Wiśniowska. I represent national costume from Poland.
Mrs. Russia.
Ludmila Zolotaryova. I represent the national costume of Russian history.
Mrs. Singapore.
I'm Catherine C. I'm wearing the traditional costume from the Tang Dynasty.
Mrs. South Africa.
My name is Cherie Looms. My costume represents the history and nature of South Africa.
Mrs. Spain.
My name is Sonia Villalba, and my costume represents the happiness and the art of the flamenco dancing.
Mrs. Sri Lanka.
Ayubowan Shivani Bedanayaka, proudly representing the traditional Kandyan costume of Sri Lanka.
Mrs. Sweden.
Stephanie Kibroa, I'm representing one of my country's traditional costumes from the province of Dar es Salaam.
Mrs. Switzerland.
Silvia Ruth Lafranchi, proud of wearing a typical Swiss mountain dress.
Mrs. Thailand.
สวัสดีค่ะนัชชาดำรงหัก This is my national costume ค่ะ Thailand.
Mrs. Turkey.
Hi, I'm Aslı Şık. I'm very proud to represent the Turkish past, the Ottoman Empire.
Mrs. Uruguay.
Alicia Brugman, hola. I'm very proud to represent the peasant woman of my country and the China of Uruguay.
Mrs. Venezuela.
Soy Marianela Pinto, mi traje es el Liki Liki, traje típico nacional de Venezuela.
You look absolutely beautiful, all of you. This is the first time for me also seeing you in your fabulous costumes. You look wonderful. Don't they look great? Well, tonight you're going to meet beautiful women from all corners of the earth, but as you will soon see, they have more than just beautiful costumes, beautiful looks. Our Mrs. World contestants have both beauty that's on the inside and on the outside.
Well, have you picked your favorite yet? Have you? Have you picked your favorite yet? Don't tell me, don't tell me. Before the night is over, we will find a brand new Mrs. World, so don't go away.
Coming up, Julie Brown goes backstage with a close-up look at the contestants. Then we'll pick the top 10 finalists. All when the Mrs. World 1999 pageant continues. Welcome back to the Mrs. World 1999 pageant. Here's your host, Aki Avni and Julie Brown.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to the 1999 Mrs. World pageant from the Holy Land. Right now, it's time for our first awards of the evening.
We must stress that these awards are not presented by our judges and will no effect of whom will be the Mrs. World.
That's right. And in each category, the winners will be presented with a commemorative medallion in recognition for their achievement. Now, the first award is for Best Costume, and the winner is... I have... Mrs. Korea! Congratulations!
The second award is for the most whimsical costume.
Whimsical, it's
whimsical,
the same.
Whimsical costume. Okay. And the winner is Mrs. British Virgin Island.
And the final costume award is for the most original costume, which I personally gave to Aki, but we have to give it to one of the girls.
Thank you, darling.
The most original. Mrs. Croatia.
During the last 2 weeks, our ladies have barely had a moment rest as they traveled and explored my unbelievable country of Israel. From the coast to the mountains, from Haifa to Bethlehem, from the Dead Sea to the Red Sea. So we wanted to share some of the fun with you, so get ready for a video journey of this historical part of the world, please.
A few miles south of Jerusalem, along a biblical road, the ladies visited the hilltop town of Bethlehem. They were able to see the ancient city where Jesus was born in a manger. And we had our first chance to meet some of the women.
I'm really worried about human rights, especially the child's human rights, and I would like to do something about that. Children are our future. Children are the next generations. If we are concentrating on this part, I think in about a couple of years, the whole world will be changing.
I feel like I'm hosting everyone here, and I'm really happy to show the world what is the real Israel. I enjoy to do that, and I want the girls to come back from my country with a good feeling and just tell everyone around the world how much Israel is so beautiful.
It means a lot to me being in this holy country in this time of the year before Christmas. It means a lot to me, and because there is no other place on the earth where you can feel God so close to you. And I thank you, Israel, for that. Thank you.
And during a relaxing day at the Dead Sea, we talked with more of our contestants.
I'd say probably the one thing I hope for the most in the new millennium is more world peace everywhere in the world and in the nations that are suffering from hunger and diseases, AIDS, and wars. I'd say that we would eliminate some of those, whether it's through research or whether it's through educating people so that they don't have hate and intolerance for others.
The best thing of being a married woman for me is that I'm really happy because I had experienced how it is to be a mother and how it is to be a wife. It's a really beautiful feeling, and also to take care of children and to also to have a career.
Oh, first of all, it's a big honor for me to be in Jerusalem. I've always wanted to come here. I'm a very spiritual person, and for me to be here is just absolutely overwhelming. I love it here. There's just so much history and there's just so much to see and so much to learn from just being here.
Well, my wishes for this new millennium are that I'm very concerned about hunger in the earth. I'm sure governments, if they get together and organize themselves, I think they can do something very drastic to end up with the hunger in the world this millennium.
And once the ladies cleaned up, Caprice Jewelers was their next stop, and it was quite an eye-opener. After all, diamonds are a girl's best friend.
About married woman, the best thing is I have a best friend who is my husband. I can share everything. When I feel sad, then I can share with him.
For me, the best thing about being married is that I have a friend at home, that I have someone to trust on. My husband is a part of me, so I can trust in someone and have someone who understands me, who shares every feeling I have with me, and that is nice.
My hope for this new millennium, to name a few, is that we finally find a cure for cancer and hopefully AIDS too. I would like to also find a cure for corruption, injustice, and intolerance, that I think that are the real three elements that spoil the whole bunch.
Well, I feel this is a good opportunity for me because this is a very spiritual one for me too. And I never thought I would come to Jerusalem, and it's one of the best experiences I think I would ever experience in life.
Then it was on to the ancient port of Jaffa, the town of legends, where it said that Jonah set sail for a whale of an encounter. It was a beautiful place for the ladies to wander, with its quaint streets and old-world charm.
If I could have one wish for the next millennium, would be to have healthy children and be a good mother to my children and good wife to my husband. And I like my children to think that I'm the best mother in the world.
Чувствую, конечно, я очень рада.
This pageant has a lot of meaning to me because I think being married is very important. I look at being married as a team effort, and the only way it will succeed is by working together. It's all about give and take.
The beaches of Caesarea also provided a wonderful location to meet more of our contestants.
I got a bad experience about an earthquake and understand how life is so valuable. I want everyone, every single person, to understand how life is so valuable.
I have done a lot of things to help people, but I think the most important issue for the new millennium is to feed the needy children of the world. I am also trying to get my family involved as well to help in this cause.
I just hope that all the people already realize that we have only one world to share. And I hope everybody will appreciate this and they will do the best to keep it as nice as possible.
That looked like fun, didn't it? Well, there's much more fun backstage with my girl, Julie. Julie?
Hey, Aki, darling, I know everyone out there thinks it's a whole lot of fun doing this competition, but let me tell you, a lot of hard work, discipline, and dedication. These girls have been doing this for a very long time. They've been on the road forever. They've had hardly any sleep, and I can't believe they still look better than me. But anyway, here we go. Mrs. Turkey, so here we go. We're about to pick the 10 finalists, so we would like the audience to know what's going through your mind right now. Are you nervous a little?
No, not nervous. Just a little bit excited, but we had lots of fun here, and this is the last day, so I wish everybody good luck.
Oh, okay. Well, nice words from Mrs. Turkey. Of course, backstage, we wish everybody good luck. Now, Mrs. Turkey is probably the sweetest one right now because everybody else is like this. In fact, you could cut this atmosphere with a sakeen. Did I say that right? Kapara?
You say it perfect. Kapara, darling, honey, baby. כפרה, נשמע מישהו אומר כפרה בעברית זה משהו. Well, but before we make the first big decision of the evening, let's meet the rest of the girls.
Nestled between the protective hills of Galilee is the village of Nazareth, the place where Jesus spent most of his life. The Church of Annunciation towers not only over the maze of private homes around it, but also over the large Franciscan monastery that stretches alongside it. This is where the announcement of the Virgin Conception took place. The ladies got a bird's-eye view of Nazareth from a hilltop Christian church and learned the story of when the angel Gabriel was sent by God to tell Mary of the Immaculate Conception.
Church of the Annunciation. This is a holy site for all Christians.
The basilica, as it stands today, still bears witness to the good news that emanates from these hills.
Being in Jerusalem is a very nice feeling. It's very peaceful. It's a very mystical place. And also Jerusalem has many different things. You have the old city, the new city, historic places. It's a very complete city. It feels very, very nice to be here, very, very happy.
The thing that I would hope for in the new millennium is that children have a war-free childhood, teenagers have a drug-free teenagehood, and adults have a peaceful life and peace and harmony for the entire world.
I hope that this world will be a better place to live in, and that there will be world peace for the next coming millennium, that there will be no war at all.
I wish that all people learn to really love themselves. I feel like I'm learning that more and more, and I think we would all be different. I think the world would be a different place.
A boat ride on the Sea of Galilee was next. The ladies sailed from Tiberias, the ancient center of learning, to Capernaum, where Jesus moved from Nazareth when he began his earthly ministry. On the north shore, the ladies visited the church of Tavna, where Jesus fed the multitudes with only a few loaves of bread and fish. Then it was party time, Tiberias style. When the sun went down, the ladies enjoyed some outstanding food and drinks at Deck's restaurant on the Sea of Galilee. They were treated to a special show of music and pyrotechnics, courtesy of Deck's and the mayor of Tiberias. All in a day's work for the ladies of the 1999 Mrs. World pageant.
I hope that for the new millennium there won't be so much headlines about earthquake, disasters, and especially war, that people could live in peace and tolerance and be just nice to each other and to respect human beings.
Where is magic is full of religious and history,
My country is full of nature, but not full of stories about a lot of things. So I feel very, very good, and my family is here also, so I'm so completely happy.
The next day's beachside activities in Eilat gave us yet another chance to meet more of our ladies.
If I could have one wish for the new year, I just would like a lot of happiness and love, because those are things that really you can't buy, and it's the most important.
When I'm here, I feel like I have time to think about the spiritual life. We are all the time running, we think about the business, we think all the time about material life. So now we have time for the reflection.
The best thing about being a married woman would be the love that I have for my husband and what he shares with me. It's a fantastic security, and it's undescribable, but I'm very fortunate.
It's so nice to experience different cultures, and this culture is so different from my own. So to be here, it's very, very special. We visited where Jesus was crucified, and for me that is very, very special.
I think one of the hopes that I have for the new millennium is that a bigger cultural understanding for the world. That's why it's so nice to be in this pageant, because it's so many different women from all over the world, and you get to know each one of them and their culture.
Meanwhile, back at the Knesset, home of the Israeli parliament, the ladies got a peek at the Knesset menorah. The impressive gift to Jerusalem is the most widely used Jewish motif in the decoration of political buildings and synagogues. And back at the Mediterranean coast, we meet the last of our contestants.
I feel a spiritual reawakening because this is a holy city, and I'm honored to be here, to be representing my country, and I have traveled around Jerusalem with the Mrs. World crew, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and I feel a spiritual reawakening being in Jerusalem.
Israel means like such a holy place where the Jesus was born. So that makes me feel like, I'm gonna have some spirit since I'm in here. So I hope I get some, spirit from Jesus and I bring back to my country.
Well, if I could have one dream or one wish, then it would definitely be to have peace in the world. Because I think if we have peace in our hearts and love in our hearts, then there would be peace for mankind. And that war and happiness influence everybody's life. So if we could just have peace, I would be happy.
It reminded me of my old town, Kyoto, and I felt quite happy being there. Like, I feel I'm home. I've never been here, but I feel some peace here.
All right, now you've had a chance to meet all of our wonderful contestants. The judges are tabulating the score, and when we come back, we're going to announce the 10 semi-finalists, so don't go away.
There's more fun, surprises, and of course, beautiful women from all over the world when the Mrs. World 1999 pageant continues from Jerusalem. Stay with us. The judges are about to announce the 10 semi-finalists when Mrs. World 1999 returns. Welcome back to the Mrs. World 1999 pageant. Here are your hosts, Aki Avni and Downtown Julie Brown.
Thank you so much. Let's welcome our lovely ladies once again. Ladies to the stage, please.
Earlier this week, our contestants were judged for several very prestigious awards. Mrs. Photogenic, Mrs. Fitness, and Mrs. Congeniality. And while they have no effect on the final outcome, the results are in.
Yes, my turn. They are in. Our first winner this evening is recognized in the category of Mrs. Photogenic, and the winner is... You all look beautiful. Picture perfect, Mrs. Norway.
And these very special awards, ladies, voted for each other. And the winner for Mrs. Congeniality is Mrs. India.
Wow! That's a very beautiful award. Congratulations. And our final award is for Mrs. Fitness. And the winner is? It's definitely not me. Mrs. Poland. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching at home, it's time for the first of many big moments of this evening. It's the selection of our top 10 semi-finalists. I'd like now to turn to the international accounting firm of Lotka, Stein and Toledano, Mr. Offer Lotka. I hope he's here. Do you have the envelope, please, sweetie? This is a very tough job for you. They're all going to be looking at you. Okay. It's all on him.
Wow, to be in the top 10 of the entire world. I know I'm nervous, and I can imagine how these ladies feel right now on stage. Ladies, take a deep breath inside. That's right, and we wish you all good luck.
Absolutely. So here we go. We're ready. Also, for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to announce that the names, okay, they're in no particular order. So once again, good luck, and here we go. 10 semi-finalists. Number 1, Mrs. France.
Number 2, Mrs. Latvia.
Number 3, Mrs. Cyprus.
Number 4, Mrs. America.
Number 5, Mrs. Sri Lanka.
And number 6, Mrs. Britain, Virgin Islands.
Number 7, Mrs. Russia.
Number 8, Mrs. Thailand.
Okay, only 2 more to go. Number 9, Mrs. Lithuania.
And our 10th semi-finalist, Mrs. Croatia.
Mrs. Croatia, come on down. The rest of the ladies, thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, our 10 semi-finalists in the search for Mrs. World 99.
Well, the rest of the ladies I've already said thank you to, and I know that you all wish them well no matter what. Here are our 10 semi-finalists, and with 3,000 years of history under its belt, Jerusalem remains a living museum and a vibrant modern city. Now, our contestants got a close-up tour of this old, beautiful, yet eternally young and magical part of Israel. So let's take a look at just what they saw.
From the time that King David made Jerusalem his capital some 3,000 years ago, and his son Solomon built the first temple, the very name of the city has conjured up images of beauty and reverence, activity and excitement. Overlooking Jerusalem, the Mount of Olives is a place where Jesus often gathered his disciples for learning and prayer. Later, after the crucifixion and his resurrection, Jesus returned here to the Mount of Olives where he ascended into heaven. The ladies got a chance to visit the Tower of David, located in the heart of Jerusalem. With its unparalleled panorama of the city, the 2,000-year-old citadel houses a museum of archaeological artifacts, as well as an open-air sculpture exhibit that utilizes cutting-edge technology. On the Temple Mount in the Old City stands one of the great monuments of the world, the gold-capped Dome of the Rock. There's no place in the world that can lay claim to such an ancient holiness recognized by all three religions.
Jerusalem means something to almost everybody. You know, it doesn't matter what your religion or your race. At some time in your life, the word Jerusalem has appeared. You've learned about it. There's something about the atmosphere in Jerusalem that makes it special.
The new Jerusalem Hilton is the host hotel for this year's Mrs. World pageant. In the heart of Jerusalem, it offers beautiful views and unrivaled service, along with top-quality design and amenities. Overlooking the ancient wall of the city, contestants enjoyed the year-round swimming in the unique heated pool.
Get up in the morning, you can walk out of the hotel and walk to virtually any point in Old or New Jerusalem. With 385 bedrooms, 5-star deluxe property. And as you can see, many of the suites that we've got overlook the old city walls, and really one of the reasons why the hotel's so successful is that people want to come and see that you've seen and that we're sitting next to.
The 5-star deluxe Jerusalem Hilton for that once-in-a-lifetime visit to the Holy Land. From the Hilton, the ladies journeyed to the Holy Land Old City model, which depicts ancient Jerusalem during its golden age on the eve of the Great Revolt in 66 BC. The city's inhabitants then numbered 70,000. The model is built perfectly to scale and one of the ladies' favorite sights.
Hello, I come from Taiwan.
The promenade overlooking Jerusalem provided not only a breathtaking view of the city, but a great photo opportunity for foreign visitors.
Beautiful, handsome.
The mayor invited all of the contestants to City Hall. There the ladies presented him with a gift of dove bears, which will be given to the young patients at the Jerusalem Children's Hospital. From City Hall, the contestants headed to the soccer field for some one-on-one with the Beitar Jerusalem national football team. As the sun sets over Jerusalem, the girls continue with a tour of the Midrash Hub, or Ben Yehuda Street. In the center of town, it is alive with energy and the sounds of its cafes, music, and tourists. This is definitely the place to find great shopping and local flavor. Then for a taste of New York and the Middle East, the ladies scooted over to Ormond 17 for some dancing and partying at the newest and wildest nightclub in Jerusalem.
Well, how were you picking the semi-finalists? It's not easy, is it? Get ready to cheer on your favorite. One of these 10 lucky ladies will soon be crowned Mrs. World 1999. They've come so far, but there's plenty more. A treat for your eyes. The fabulous swimsuit competition is next, so I know you're gonna sit tight.
Don't go away. The swimsuit competition is next when Mrs. World 1999 continues. We're back with the Mrs. World 1999 pageant and your host, Aki Avni.
Ladies and gentlemen, next on our stage is an amazing young dance troupe who have traveled all over the world with their energetic step under the artistic directing of Shuki Hoffman. Please welcome Mechola. Come on, how about a hand for these lovely kids? Weren't they terrific?
Absolutely. Well, look, he was getting jealous because I got so many outfits. So, Aki, did a wardrobe change. Isn't it beautiful?
Come on, thank you. Darling, you fire me with that. You're burning me with that.
Thank you, baby. You look pretty snazzy yourself.
Thank you. Well, now we come to the highlight of the Mrs. World pageant. Before we pare it down to 5 finalists, it's my personal favorite.
Oh, really? What could that be?
The swimsuit.
Oh, I should have guessed that. Well, perhaps the most anticipated portion of the evening, the official swimwear competition. Let's welcome back our 10 semi-finalists in swimwear created by the great international designer,
Guido Oberzon.
Thank you.
Mrs. France is 26 years old. She's been married for 5 years. Her husband, a coach builder, is named Jerome. She's employed as a model and also in public relations. Mrs. Latvia is 24 years old. She's been married for 7 years. Her husband is a member of parliament. She's employed as a charity project director. Mrs. Cyprus is 32 years old. She's been married for 6 years. She works as a computer scientist. She has one child named Sarah, who's 9 years old. Mrs. America is 32 years old. She's been married 3.5 years. Her husband is a doctor. She's employed as a model. Mrs. Sri Lanka is 28 years old. She's been married for 3 years. Her husband is CEO of a leading web development company. British Virgin Islands. She's 27 years old. She's been married for 8 years. Her husband, Dwayne, is a banker, and she works as a corporate administrator of mutual funds. Mrs. Russia is 26 years old. She's been married for 7 years. Her husband is chairman of the board of charity fund of Russia's intellectual properties. She has one child, Vladimir, who's 7 years old. Mrs. Thailand has been married for 3 years. She's employed as a model. She graduated from university. She has one child. Mrs. Lithuania is 28 years old. She's been married for 10 years. She's the administrator of her own motel. She has 2 children, 9 and 8 years old. Mrs. Croatia is 23 years old. She's been married for 4 years. Her husband, Anthony, is a professional singer. She has one child, Christian, who's 2 years old.
Well, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Don't they look absolutely beautiful? There are 10 semi-finalists in their swimsuits looking hotter than ever. Now, our beautiful ladies have flown in from all over the world to be in the Holy Land for this fabulous pageant, and they didn't waste a minute of their stay. Of course, there were many days and nights spent preparing for this show, but when they weren't rehearsing, trust me, they got a chance to tour just about everywhere. And over the last 2 weeks, our contestants found that Israel is like no other place on earth and definitely a unique place to stay, pray, and play.
The country of Israel is about the same size as the state of New Jersey. The main city is Tel Aviv. The delegates flew into Tel Aviv Ben Gurion's airport aboard El Al Airlines, the national carrier of Israel, flying aboard the brand new 747-400 jet airline. It was the perfect way to arrive in the Holy Land and start their whirlwind tour. Miles of golden beaches swept by the turquoise blue sea of the Mediterranean hug the animated and delightful city of Tel Aviv. Our ladies visited this hot spot of Israel and got a full sense of its blend of Western sophistication and Eastern culture. First up was a trip to the Tel Aviv Museum of Art, which displays works of modern art by artists from the world over. After checking into the Tel Aviv Hilton, the girls got ready for a night on the town. Tel Aviv is where the artists and creative forces live, work, and gather in the Middle East. It's a city unlike any other. Dinner starts at 10, and nightlife goes from midnight to dawn. Some of our delegates enjoyed a night on the town in style. First, they hit the Fashion Cafe, well known internationally for its food, fun, and of course, beautiful women. Our ladies fit right in. Then it was time for a little sushi, and afterwards, dancing the night away at the Kashmir nightclub, a popular spot on the Tel Aviv nighttime menu. The city of Jerusalem stands tall in the center of Israel, and traveling with the Jerusalem Gold Tours, the contestants visited the Old City. Built by the Romans 1,800 years ago, the Cardo, or Street of Pillars, is a remnant of the Roman city built over the ruins of Jerusalem in the heart of the Old City. The ladies strolled through part of the Cardo, which has been excavated and completely restored. The rest is still buried under the buildings of the city. There are 4 quarters that make up the Old City: the Jewish, the Christian, the Muslim, and the Arab quarters. Records of these neighborhoods go back as far as the 13th century. Today, the Old City is alive once again with its narrow and winding streets, filled with shopping of every nature. King Solomon built his great temple here on the Temple Mount, which was later rebuilt by King Herod. And then 19 centuries ago, this temple too was destroyed. A portion of the original temple walls, known as the Western or Wailing Wall, is all that's left from the time of King Solomon. It's considered by Jews to be the holiest place on earth. Some of the ladies were able to get a personal and up-close look at the wall and spend a few moments in prayer. Time has not dimmed the attraction of the Western Wall as visitors stream into modern-day Israel to pray and place handwritten notes into the crevices of this ancient structure. The Via Dolorosa means the road of the suffering, or way of the cross. It is the path of Jesus when he carried the cross from the judgment court to Golgotha, the place of the crucifixion. The ladies retraced the steps of Jesus and were moved by the experience of wandering along the way where he suffered 2,000 years ago. There are 14 stations on the Via Dolorosa, 9 along the narrow street, and 5 inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Inside is Calvary, the tomb of Jesus, and the holiest place in Christendom. North of Jerusalem is the Sea of Galilee and the city of Yardenit, where Christian pilgrims come from all corners of the earth to be baptized in the holy waters of the legendary Jordan River. At the southern end of the Sea of Galilee, amidst the trees, is the site near where John the Baptist ministered and Jesus was baptized. In the entrance of the Yardenit, there's a community wall describing the baptism of Jesus Christ with text taken from the New Testament, which is written in different languages. The ladies donned white robes in respect to the holy site and gathered at the water's edge for a very special and tranquil experience.
Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to Yardenit. This is the baptismal site run by Kibbutz Kinneret.
After a short explanation by their spiritual leader, the event was consecrated by a baptism.
Words are not clear enough.
For these lucky ladies, it truly was an emotional experience. The southernmost city of Israel is Eilat. Ever since the days of Solomon and Sheba, the southern seaside town of Eilat has been one of the Middle East's most unique and fabulous getaways. The Red Sea was the perfect spot to bask in the sun and take in some of the many water sports along Eilat's coastline. The ladies then visited the Coral World Observatory, which gave everyone a great look at Eilat both above and below sea level.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm certain all the ladies will come away from this experience with some very personal memories of the Holy Land, and you will too. Coming up very soon, the crowning of Mrs. World, so please do not go away.
Coming up, the formal wear competition, and later we'll find out who our 5 finalists are when the Mrs. World 1999 pageant returns. From the Holy Land in Jerusalem, welcome back to the Mrs. World 1999 pageant.
Well, it's quite natural for anybody watching the Mrs. World pageant to try and pick the winners. Do you have your favorite yet? A couple? Well, that's good, because we're going to meet the people who may have by far the toughest job of anyone here tonight, and they are our judges, who must decide among many wonderful ladies, those that we have chosen in our 10 semi-finalists, who will take home the title. It's time to meet one of the most distinguished panels of judges we've ever had. Right up there. Welcome. It's no coincidence that the first up is a woman who was the very first Mrs. World, and she is a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations Population Fund from Colombo, Sri Lanka, Mrs. World 1984, Rosie Senenakaya. I hope I said that. Well, he is one of Israel's greatest national treasures, the creator of our ladies' swimwear you've seen tonight, the international renowned designer, Gideon Overson. Welcome. She is a renowned business and community leader who serves on the board of director of several national and international charitable organizations. From Johannesburg, South Africa, please welcome Janine Dillon. And from the United States, beauty is his business, the Vice President of International Marketing for the Tova Corporation and official sponsor of Mrs. World, Mr. Kevin Corrigan. Welcome. Finally, from Jackson, Mississippi, in the good old USA, she is the only Mrs. America to win the coveted title of Mrs. World, Pam Nail. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, get ready, everybody, because it's time for our ladies to really, really do what they do best. And wait until you get a look at some of these sensational gowns. Ladies and gentlemen, the formal wear competition.
Mrs. France is Isabel de Silva.
For me, I will be very proud and honored to be an ambassador for all these women from around the world who are married and have children.
Mrs. Latvia, Ines Schlesser.
There are many millions married women in the world, and they are good mothers and good wives, but there is only one to be called Mrs. World. It's such a big honor and responsibility to be an ambassador of marriage and maternity in the world.
Mrs. Cyprus, Dorota Eftihu.
I would like to be Mrs. World because before I joined the contest, my daughter said to me that for her I was the most beautiful mother over the world, so I don't want to disappoint her. And the second reason is I would like to make my country proud of me.
Mrs. America is Starla K. Stanley.
Well, I would love to be Mrs. World because I would like to encourage women all over our world to return pride and honor to motherhood, and that's whether they're mothers of their own children or mothers to the children in their community. And I really believe in giving to humanity, and I would like to encourage women all over the world to return that work of giving to humanity, whether that starts in their home and then spreads out to the community and the world, but I believe the priority has to come in your home first.
Mrs. Sri Lanka, Sivani Wadanichika.
I want to be Mrs. World because I believe through my title I can promote my country, Sri Lanka. I would like to reach out to the women and to the children because I see myself as a role model and people look up to you as Mrs. World. So I believe that I can contribute to the betterment of the world by being Mrs. World.
Mrs. British Virgin Islands, Sabina Mason.
I want to be Mrs. World because I just think it's the greatest gift that I can give to my country. It would be a very big honor for the British Virgin Islands, such a small territory, to win an event as big as this. And it's just something that I'd really like to do for them.
Mrs. Russia, Ludmila Zolotariloa.
I want to be a Mrs. World because I represent Russia and I'm proud of it because I love my country very much. I want to show that married women can make a balance between her family and her career. She can be a good mother, a good wife, and a successful in her work.
Mrs. Thailand, Nacha Damlonai.
ที่มาประกวด Mrs. World นะคะก็เพราะว่าตำแหน่งไปเพื่อ
I want to be Mrs. World to remind everyone how important family is. If we strengthen the family unit, we can strengthen the world by setting an example of how one cohesive unit can stand against all diversity.
Mrs. Lithuania, Angela Anvetskiana.
It would be such an honor to be Mrs. World and set an example to all the married women of how much we can accomplish. I want to bring awareness to the casualties of war, our children.
Mrs. Croatia, Antonella Satinsky.
The reason why I want to be the Mrs. World is because it's first of all great honor for me. But what is most important is to try to help all people all around the world and give them love and charity because after all I'm a mother and a wife and I know how is it to be loved and give love to someone.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our 10 semi-finalists.
Well, I'm wearing my favorite designer jewelry from Caprice once again. It's really hard to lift this hand, all the diamonds.
Beautiful.
The diamonds are worth over $1.2 million. Don't touch what you can't afford. Okay. We hope you're having a great time watching at home and rooting for your favorite. When we return, we will choose our 5 finalists.
Coming up on the Mrs. World 1999 pageant, our contestants visit the incredible Dead Sea region. Then later, we crown our winner, so don't go away. Stay with us as we select the 5 finalists. That's next, as Mrs. World 1999 continues. From the Jerusalem Theater, welcome back to the Mrs. World 1999 pageant.
Thank you so much. Well, over the last 12 days, our ladies have been coming and going in all different directions. Some of them went southeast to visit historic Masada and the Dead Sea. Some traveled north to the holy place, Nazareth and the Sea of Galilee, and the rest went west. So, come along.
At the southernmost tip of Israel lies the jewel of the Red Sea, Eilat. Eilat's newest and most fabulous destination is the Hilton Queen of Sheba Hotel. On arrival, the ladies were treated to a queen's welcome. Then the pampering and fun began with a visit to the world-class spa.
New Hilton Queen of Sheba is a very large hotel with 488 rooms, with a beautiful surrounding, look like a palace.
And what better way to enjoy the palace than the Queen of Sheba's fabulous beachside swimming pool? The delegates had some splashing fun and caught some rays beneath the Middle Eastern sun. North of Eilat is the lowest place on Earth, 400 meters below sea level, the Dead Sea. Don't let the name fool you. The Dead Sea region is full of life. Before partaking in some of the more therapeutic activities, the ladies enjoyed each other's company out at the cabana. In the health-giving and mineral-rich Dead Sea water, even non-swimmers are able to float effortlessly. And a trip to the region would not be complete without caking on some of the Dead Sea's famous mud. People the world over flock in masses to the Dead Sea to enjoy the healing benefits of the mineral-rich mud. And of course, cleaning up is half the fun. After cleaning up, the delegates touched up with a variety of makeup products from Tova. Each contestant was presented with a gift pack that included eye makeup, skincare products, and new products for their hair. At the most thoroughly excavated archaeological site in Israel, the ladies had a chance to take in the awe of Masada. With a ride up the steep tram to the high plateau, they toured the magnificent Masada Palace and Fortress, built by King Herod. The inspirational and historic site came to life with the help of our beautiful ladies. The ladies worked up quite an appetite and were greeted with a hearty lunch at Qumran on the northwestern shore of the Dead Sea. It was there that the ancient tribe called the Essens lived and studied for over 2 centuries. The ladies visited the ancient ruins and surrounding caves that housed the magnificent legacy known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. The western coast of Israel lies on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea. Located on the slopes of Mount Carmel, overlooking the Mediterranean, is the coastal city of Haifa. The ladies enjoyed a spectacular view of the entire bay, including the Golden Dome, which rises halfway up Mount Carmel and is the sanctuary of the Baha'i Temple. The gardens in front, which overlook the bay, were a beautiful and fascinating location to wander through.
I wish I could be there with them, you know. This looks great, the dancing, the mud, the baptism, isn't it?
Oh, look at you getting all hot there. Well, I tell you what, let's bring them all out here again without the mud. And ladies and gentlemen, our 10 semi-finalists of the 1999 Mrs. World pageant, here they are.
Well, these are the 10 married women in the world. You know, I was just thinking, these are 10 pretty lucky husbands, isn't it?
I absolutely agree. There's 10 lucky men out there that have these 10 lucky women right here. How unbelievable is it to have 10 representing billions of married women in the world. I mean, that is a success in itself. But we're not stopping at 10, are we?
Yeah, we're not stopping at 10. Now let's go down to 8. The votes are in. They have been collected and selected. And the judges have selected the 5 finalists for the title of Mrs. World 99.
And that's right. And one of the 5 will go on to wear the crown. Now I'll turn to Mr. Lotka from our independent accounting firm. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, again, remember that the names are in no particular order, and our wishes for all of you girls, each of you, all the best for you.
Okay, good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Number 1 is Mrs. Croatia.
Mrs. Croatia, congratulations. Number 2, Mrs. Latvia.
And number 3, Mrs. America.
Number 4, Mrs. Sri Lanka.
And our last finalist, number 5, Mrs. Cyprus.
The other ladies from around the world, thank you so very, very much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting our 5 finalists, one of whom is going to win the title Mrs. World 1999. Well, it all started for one of our 10 finalists, Mrs. America, in Ogden, Utah, when she won the state competition and went on to become Mrs. America in Hawaii last summer. And here she is today, competing for Mrs. World. If you'd like to join the excitement and be a contestant for Mrs. World or Mrs. America 2000, please contact us at the Mrs. America pageant, Marmel Entertainment, 2412 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 204, Santa Monica, California, 90403, USA. Or you can send me a check. No, I mean, you can check out our website at www.mrsamericapageant.com, and we'll leave the computer on just for you.
And now let's welcome back one of the Israeli greatest dance troupe, Mechola.
gotta get deep down right on to words. I break it down to my head, stop, enough said. Have fun, I kill it, it's right along the way. It gets ya, I won't let ya stop. This is MDA, it hits ya, it trips ya. No need to stop, cause we break the hat, break the hat. Nagila, Nagila, Nagila,
Yeah, they deserve it. A lot of applause for this young troupe. And when we come back, you will really get to know our 5 finalists, and then it's time to bring the house down with the crowning of the winner, so stay with us.
Welcome back to beautiful Jerusalem and Mrs. World 1999 pageant.
Well, it's been a very educational, spiritual, and festive 14 days here in Israel, but for one outstanding special friend, it's been an experience which is beyond belief, from one end of the earth to the other, ever since she won the crown. Here's the current Mrs. World, direct from Costa Rica, Marisol Soto de Bolio.
Winning the Mrs. World title has been a very special honor, one that I will cherish my entire life, and something I know my family and my country will always be proud of. Being Mrs. World gave me the opportunity to meet great people, to travel, and to do charity work for children. I would like to thank God for everything I have, especially for my 2 greatest treasures, my daughters Marianne and Nicole. I would like to thank my husband Julian and Elaine and David Marmel. Thank you from my heart to everyone who made this possible. Shalom from Israel.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, possibly the single most important part of the evening as we announce our 5 finalists. Mrs. Cyprus, would you tell me please, if married women around the world all want the same thing, what is it?
Happiness, love, forgiveness, and compassion.
What do you say about that? Mrs. America, you've been in the Holy Land for 2 weeks. What have you been learning?
Oh, I've learned a lot about differences in religions, diversity in cultures, and that no matter who you are and where you come from, love is what holds you together, and a love for peace and kindness for all mankind. And I think that's so important, especially with the diversity that I've seen here.
Please God, give us peace, especially to this area. Thank you, Miss America. Mrs. Latvia, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
And my question for you is, what do you hope the biggest important improvement for families will be in the new millennium?
I mean, in this time where so many divorces and so many problems around in the families, I would hope that we just learn and teach everybody love, and to give love and to receive love back is the most beautiful thing. So I hope for that.
That's great of you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Latvia. Mrs. Sri Lanka, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. why is an international pageant for married women is a good thing?
I believe that through this beauty pageant, you can reach out to people, families, and they look up to the beauty queens as role models. And we use this pageant to promote values, family values, marriage, as well as love and peace and understanding, and promote international understanding between countries. So it is important for us to have this beauty pageant to reach out to millions of people all over the world.
And that's the reason we are here tonight. Thank you, Miss Sri Miss Croatia, what is the secret for a successful marriage? Tell us.
Secret? I will tell you what is the secret for my successful marriage. Understanding. People has to be friends first, at first friends, then everything else. Because if you have understanding, and when you understand and love someone, then you are very successful.
That's right, friendship and loveness. Thank you, Mrs. Croatia. Now it's all up to the judges, isn't it, Julie?
Well, thanks a lot, Aki, and thank you to our judges. I'm glad I don't have to decide between these beautiful 5 ladies. I wouldn't have a clue how to pick just one, but of course they must, and they will very, very soon. Along with the crown and the title, have you been wondering what else Mrs. World will win? Well, let me tell you, some wonderful prizes. In fact, I'm not going to tell you anymore. I'm just going to let you take a look at some of them.
The new 1999 Mrs. World will receive a lifetime supply of makeup and beauty products, compliments of the Tova Corporation. Tova is recognized as a worldwide leader of cosmetics and fine beauty products. Our winner will also receive a ticket on El Al Airlines to the Mrs. America 2000 pageant in Hawaii, and an El Al ticket to the site of the Mrs. World 2000 pageant. El Al, Israel's national airline, the safest way to fly to the Holy Land for the millennium. Mrs. World will also take home a gorgeous gown designed by Israel's Galit Levy. Only 28 years of age, Miss Levy's designs are known the world over. Her credits include designing the dress for Miss World 1998 and for Mrs. Israel 1999. A $15,000 heart-shaped diamond necklace from Caprice Jewelers also awaits the new Mrs. World. Caprice, a company of worldwide reputation in the jewelry and diamond field, offers exceptional design and high quality. The new Mrs. World 1999 will also receive a lifetime subscription to Pageantry Magazine. Pageantry Magazine, for more than 2 decades, they've been the official publication for the modeling and pageant industry. Be a winner. Subscribe to Pageantry Magazine. And finally, Zuki Outerwear has designed 2 pure cashmere pieces, especially for the new Mrs. World, valued at $10,000. One is the chic Bordeaux maxi coat, and the other, a sumptuous gray wrap. See Zuki's full collection at www.zuki.com.
The time is now. We'll find out who is the winner next. So, stay put.
Coming up, it's the moment you've been waiting for as we pick Mrs. World 1999. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We're going to choose a winner next as Mrs. World 1999 continues. Welcome back to the finals of the Mrs. World 1999 pageant.
Well, from all over the world, north, south, east, and west, and everywhere in between, they come from all corners of the earth. So it's only fitting we say shalom again and welcome back to every one of our wonderful winners. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the first ladies of the Mrs. World pageant.
Well, you're about to see a dream come true. It all starts with some 2 billion married women all over the world. Our contestants have all won a national competition, giving them an opportunity to representing them country.
That's right, and tonight on this stage right here in Jerusalem, you saw us select the 10 semi-finalists. Now there are just 5. Here they are again, our finalists, one of whom is going to be Mrs. World 1999. So, may I have that envelope, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, the 4th runner-up is Mrs. Sri Lanka.
The 3rd runner-up is Mrs. Croatia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2nd runner-up is Mrs. Cyprus. Well, I say we wait just a second. What do you think? I mean, why not? It's a good time to breathe, check in with ourselves, you know, feel the room, feel the air. I think it's a pretty dramatic place to take a pause, don't you, Aki?
You have a knack for that, Julie.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, we finally arrived at the magical moment. Now there are just, as you can see, 2 left up here on the stage. One of you will be the first runner-up. The other will be the new Mrs. World 1999.
If for any reason Mrs. World cannot fulfill her obligation during this upcoming year, the first runner-up will assume the title.
Okay.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, the first runner-up is Mrs. Latvia.
Which means Mrs. America is the new Mrs. World. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. America, the new Mrs. World. Congratulations to our new Mrs. World. She looks absolutely beautiful. America! She has a new crown, a new sash, and that's just the beginning. In addition to all the other prizes you've already seen on the show, Aki is presenting a beautiful 15,000 diamond necklace from Caprice, all the diamonds I have been wearing here tonight. A ticket on LL to Mrs. America 2000 pageant in Honolulu, Hawaii. And here's another ticket on LL to the site to the Mrs. World 2000 pageant. Plus a lifetime supply of beauty products, compliments of Tova Corporation. And there's more. Congratulations, Mrs. America, our new Mrs. World 1999. Come on.
And now, there she goes on her first official walk. Ladies and gentlemen, we present you Mrs. World 99.
Well, congratulations to all our ladies and their families, directors, and well-wishers. I've had a wonderful time. Thanks to all our friends here in Israel, especially the beautiful Jerusalem Hilton, and all of you joining us on PAX TV, America's Family Network. Thank you so much.
It's been a wonderful adventure. On behalf of us here in Israel, shalom and thanks for joining us to celebrating the world's greatest natural treasure, the married woman. We'll see you next year right here on PAX TV in Mrs. World 2000.
Good night, everybody.
Good
and thank
night.
you very much. Thank you.
Air transportation to Israel for cast and crew of the 1999 Mrs. World pageant was provided by El Al Airlines, the safest way to fly to the Holy Land. Hotel accommodations for the 1999 Mrs. World pageant was provided by the Jerusalem Hilton. When traveling in the Middle East, choose the best, Jerusalem Hilton. Ground transportation for delegates provided by Jerusalem Gold. Jerusalem Gold, the safest way to travel in the Middle East. Additional ground transportation provided by Budget Rentals.
Necesita que me des a tu hermana, la chilanguita, y arriba, ay arriba, por ti seré, yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, bamba, 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 bamba.
This has been a Tri-Crown production.